Welcome to the WTT AGM webinar. We're here to explain everything about what we've done in the last 12 months of launching WTT during the pandemic. I'm going to be your host, Matt Pound, the WTT Managing Director. Let's start the show.
Welcome.
Bienvenidas. 欢迎来到 Welcome
to World Table Tennis.
To World Table Tennis.
WTT to World Table Tennis.
Welcome to WTT.
The players are the most important thing in table tennis and they're the most important thing for WTT. So we wanted them all to welcome you because they're at the heart of everything we're doing here at WTT. To first welcome us after the players is the WTT Council Chair, Mr. Liu Liang, who did his pre-recorded voice message for us. Over to you, Mr. Liu.
各位朋友，大家好。很遗憾，我们不得不再次通过网络的方式和大家见面。希望在休斯顿的时候，我们能有更多面对面交流和沟通的机会。2020年至2021年这2年，对所有人来说都是异常艰难的时刻。各个国家和地区的边境关闭，奥运会推迟，我们的生活在受新冠疫情影响下的各种限制当中。2020年12月，我们在中国澳门向世界展示了 WTT 如何在全球范围内重新定义乒乓球运动，同时也展示了乒乓球运动之美。顺利的开局之后，我们为2021年制定的宏伟的计划，目标是在中国举办更多 WTT 赛事，以延续在澳门创造的良好势头。但由于疫情防控的各项规定，情形变得非常困难。就像大家看到的那样，新冠疫情拖慢了我们的速度。我必须感谢我的朋友卡利尔·阿尔莫罕默迪，他深深懂得新冠疫情对整个乒乓球行业造成的冲击。2021年 WTT 赛事先后3次在多哈举行，多哈还举办了亚洲锦标赛、奥运会亚洲区预选赛和奥运会世界预选赛。它不仅帮助 WTT， 还帮助了整个乒乓球界的球员们。我还要对史蒂夫·丹顿先生表示感谢，即使在疫情严重的情况下，他这2年为了世界乒乓球事业的发展四处奔波，很少有时间和家人待在一起。在和大家沟通协调的过程当中，他不仅要克服疫情带来的旅行限制和风险，同时还要面临不同文化环境带来的冲突，并且逐渐让大家明白 WTT 是乒乓球未来的发展方向。我要向史蒂夫说一句，辛苦了。马特·庞德 WTT 董事总经理，相信大家和我一样看到了马特的飞速成长。马特是年轻一代的乒乓球工作者，他有很多现代和商业化的意见和建议。我们经常为了一些好的点子进行讨论，不断尝试。WTT 的发展方向也就是在这些讨论和争论当中逐渐明朗。迈克尔·布朗，国际乒联集团年轻的财务总监。当新冠疫情开始的时候，谁都不曾预料到财务风险会变得异常严峻。迈克尔在这个特殊时期一直保持冷静的思考，力求国际乒联集团的财务状况保持稳定。最可贵的是，他还能够在不断变化的环境当中随时做出调整。他的工作值得我们所有人称赞。史蒂芬·达基特 WTT 赛事战略总监，在疫情期间推进赛事进行非常不容易，目前的团队建设还没有全部完成， 很多事情需要他自己去做，很辛苦。我们通过这一年的竞赛情况，看到史蒂芬对乒乓球运动项目的了解逐渐加深。在这里，我要再次对史蒂芬说一句：欢迎加入世界乒乓球大家庭。最后，要感谢国际乒联执行委员会的所有成员，因为你们的支持， WTT 能够在疫情蔓延之际突破所有障碍，迅速成长。为了让乒乓球成为全球顶尖运动项目之一，我们大家一直在努力。尽管面临诸多困难， WTT 仍然是世界乒乓球的发展方向。去年我们谈论了很多当今世界乒乓球发展的需求和展望。一年过去了，这些需求依然存在，甚至更为重要。乒乓球需要一个强大的平台，才能在与全球与其他运动项目的竞争中获胜。过去的一年，在冲破疫情让乒乓球重回赛场方面，我们做了很多的工作。最重要的当属2020年末的中国举行的重启赛事系列。受新冠疫情影响，国际乒联自2020年3月15日起暂停了所有赛事活动。经历238天的赛事停摆之后，乒乓球赛终于在2020年11月8日通过重启赛事系列回归国际舞台，成为在疫情期间第一个成功重返赛场的国际体育项目。女子世界杯、男子世界杯、国际乒联总决赛这3项最重要的国际乒联赛事在中国重启。随后在中国澳门开启了 WTT 的首秀，众多世界顶尖球员参与到了重启赛事系列当中，经历重重艰苦万难，重启赛事系列取得了巨大的成功。更为重要的是，整个赛事泡泡期间保持零新冠病例，这是一项重大成就，是经过精心策划和数月的幕后努力才得以实现。我们向世界证明，即使是在全球疫情蔓延的情况下，乒乓球这项体育运动仍将竭尽全力克服一切困难，为全球球迷呈现精彩的赛事内容。2020年12月，6名来自中国队以外协会的运动员从中国成都开始了他们的国际乒联训练营的旅程。美国的张安、波多黎各的迪亚兹、韩国的田志希、中华台北的郑怡静、林韵如、中国香港的杜凯琴，这些球员们不仅参加了在广州举行的中国乒超联赛，同时还在成都的中国乒乓球训练基地完成了为期10天的国际训练营。随后又与中国队一起在海南陵水进行了备战东京奥运会的封闭训练。中国队顶尖的训练环境、一流的训练对手，让这6名球员的职业生涯上了一个新的台阶。未来我们还将继续使用这样的形式。世界乒乓球是一家，家人们就应该互相帮助，共同提高。在中国，乒乓球进入到了历史最强阶段。经过东京奥运会获得4金3银成绩的中国队，就是球迷心中的英雄。各项媒体数据显示，乒乓球也是奥运会期间最受关注、话题参与度最高、收视率最好的运动项目。基于乒乓球在中国受欢迎的程度和影响力，我希望能够借此帮助和推进乒乓球运动在全球发展。当新冠肺炎疫情逐渐消退，各项计划都能进入实施阶段，并逐渐拥有强大的乒乓球运动资产，为这项运动提供全球动力。 在去年9月的 WTT 年度代表大会中，我曾经说过，要将全世界优秀的乒乓少年们打造为这项运动的明星，并且表示疫情过后将筹备在中国举办世界最大的乒乓球训练营，包括青少年训练营。我希望全世界的天才乒乓少年能够获得来中国锻炼的机会。尽管这项计划由于新冠疫情的影响一再延后，但现在是时候启动这个计划了。我期待乒乓少年天才们挑战世界顶级运动员的一幕尽快实现。改变从来都不容易，尤其是在新冠疫情期间。我期待大家都支持我们的愿景，共同在全球范围内将乒乓球发展到中国目前的水平。加油 ITTF， 加油 WTT。
Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. Very insightful words. Now over to the ITTF Group CEO and WTT Director, Steve Dainton.
Thank you very much, Matt, and good evening, everyone, live from Singapore. It's great seeing you here, Matt, in Singapore live also on one of the first flights coming back into the country without needing to quarantine, and being in the office today with all the people here. It's really a great feeling to have that back again, and I think it gives us a bit of hope that the world is coming slowly back to normal. Also, firstly, a huge thanks to Mr. Liu Guoliang for a wonderful opening speech. We will never forget the extraordinary efforts you and your country, China, have made to ensure table tennis and WTT not only survives the crisis, but which will eventually ensure we have full success. Thank you so much. Your wise words encourage us to keep striving forward and to try through World Table Tennis to make table tennis one of the biggest sports in the world. I'm also tonight representing the board of World Table Tennis, and of course, I think it's very important to mention another extremely important person on the World Table Tennis board, our ITTF Executive Committee member and Deputy President, Mr. Halil El-Mahanadi. We must pay him a huge tribute, himself and QTTA, whom this year alone has organized 3 World Table Tennis events in Qatar. Not only Khalil for your unwavering support for World Table Tennis, but the fact that Qatar, under your leadership, was one of the very few countries that could deliver events in 2021 during this pandemic. And not only did Qatar deliver, you did it, really at first class. It was really amazing. We cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much, Khalil. I also hope everyone is enjoying the video conferences so far. Today, we update on World Table Tennis. Ever since becoming the CEO of the ITTF and now of the group, the main remit of my work has been to work on growing the business side of our sport. And that is why I'm supporting the World Table Tennis team here tonight. As we've previously explained, World Table Tennis was a work in progress for many years. Launching an evolutionary, or as I would normally like to call it, a pioneering sport entity under the umbrella of the ITTF group, like World Table Tennis, has been really an amazing experience. One which has incredible challenges, but also one which continues to show us that we are on the right track. To launch during COVID-19 pandemic has not made it easy. I don't think I need to go into too much details on that, as every single person around the world has been affected by the complications of COVID-19. But one of the main concerns I remember, and I had from the beginning of this whole journey, was if we really could achieve something like this under the ITTF umbrella. In fact, it reminds me of a story in 2017 when I spoke often with my good friend and my colleague, Mr. Rao Kalin, who at the time was not, but is now ITTF Secretary General. I remember telling him it will be very complicated to grow the business to its potential inside such a political structure like the ITTF. But he was confident. He convinced me And at the time, he said it was possible. And I really remember those moments, and it really encouraged us that we could do it and we could make it. So we really went hard to work. But I think it's fair to say that the last 12 months proved how hard that was. The internal struggle was unprecedented. What I love about life, though, is when you do things professionally with support from reputed persons and companies, when you are transparent and open about your plans, and when you work really, really hard to achieve your goals, then usually things come out well in the end. This is where I believe we are at now, ready again to achieve and deliver on the objectives, strategies, and reasons why we set up World Table Tennis in the first place. To the stage where now even other sports are copying us. Several other major sports have literally copied and pasted what we have done, and different to us without the internal issues, they've steamed ahead. They've also understood that for sports to compete with the big sporting properties, they need to adapt to the modern realities. For the next few years, it will be important to minimize the internal debates, because ultimately we are not competing with ourselves. Competing amongst ourselves as a sport has zero value for table tennis. We need to work together and start competing with the other sports properties who are developing fast and not waiting for us to get our act together. It's now our time to shine in the competitive world of sports business. I will also make a wrap up at the end of the video conference, but whilst 2021 was a difficult year surviving the COVID-19 crisis and surviving the internal battles, which has delayed many original plans, it's now time to change gears and put the afterburners back on and show the world what World Table Tennis can do in the next years with a positive, constructive teamwork approach. I'm confident in 2022, with the COVID crisis starting to ease and a new ITTF teamwork approach, we will go ahead with pride and confidence. Before showing the huge work our team has done in the past 12 months, I must say thank you to some other persons. Firstly, to the ITTF Executive Committee for not only weathering the internal storm, but also for their guidance. We will miss some of you, but at the same time, we're excited and look forward to a new ITTF Executive Committee supporting WTT even more in the future. To the whole WTT and even the ITTF team for battling through this difficult period, keep up the hard work. It will eventually pay dividends. Thank you also to the event hosts that during this difficult time have actually made World Table Tennis competitions happen in this extremely complicated period. And to all our ITTF members, thanks for the patience as we deal with this difficult period. Better times are coming. I now pass back to Matt and his team to discuss the current state of play and to show you that even during the crisis, a massive amount of work at the back end they have been doing so we can be ready to make a difference and make World Table Tennis fly. Thank you so much. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you very much, Steve. As mentioned by Steve, we were able to kick off World Table Tennis officially in Qatar earlier this year. Let's take a quick look back at these two magnificent events.
Something that we've been dreaming of for a few years to start the journey of World Table Tennis. We have been through a huge, long process studying the market, trying to figure out how we can bring table tennis really to the next level.
The arena was, super cool. Everything was lightning. The court looks sharp. I was first thinking it would be too dark with dark flooring, dark table, but it wasn't. It felt really comfortable to play. Of course, easy to say when you play all matches on show court and winning all, but I also followed the Macau tournament last year. It looked very cool as well. So yeah, this is a nice fashion to change up to.
I think it's a very good idea to have something changed, like decoration, like the place of the game. It's very nice also that it's not always the same color, black with blue, and I think it's very nice always change this color.
We do our best with the world table tennis staff, with the world table tennis people to work hard to make it really for everything is high standard, high level in table tennis. For me, really this is something another level for table tennis. We received many calls, many messages about this one.
More modern, more professional. It's for the players, it's also for the fans. World Table Tennis is really about them, and we hope that you enjoy the show, enjoy World Table Tennis. This is really just the beginning of what we hope is a long and successful road.
It's a quick look back in Doha, and it really brings back fantastic memories for all of us that were there. So now we've had our welcomes. Now to give you an update of where we're at, what has been happening the last 12 months at World Table Tennis. I think for all of us in every walk of life, it's been a year of challenges. It has not been easy. It has not been what we had expected and what we had planned for over the last 3 or 4 years to launch this new entity. Every day, every month, things have changed. We have new challenges. We've had border restrictions. We've had lockdowns, countries opening, countries closing, uncertainty for our professional lives, for our personal lives. We haven't been able to see friends and families, let alone organize table tennis events. When we think we're getting on top of things, then we have more changes, policy changes, different mutations to the virus. And to run an international sporting business in this environment, it has been chaotic to say the least. I did not think we'd be sitting here in October 2021, only having delivered a couple of events, not having the 2022 and 23 calendar announced, and be where we are today. But this is it. This is COVID. This is the world we've been having to live with. And it's not just World Table Tennis, it's ITTF, it's other international sporting federations, it's your national associations, your clubs, your teams, your players. At every single level, everyone's been affected, and we've been affected as much or even more than everyone else. So thank you for bearing with us. Thanks for your patience. But whilst we've been sitting inside Singapore, often stuck in our houses, in our homes during the lockdowns, we have been working like crazy, trying to get the product up and running. It's given us time to sit back and reflect. It's given us time to build out our team, really map out for the future. And we've been working like absolute crazy to get everything up and running. Just what you saw in Doha, what you saw in Budapest, what you're going to be seeing in Tunisia, in Slovenia, and also in Houston. The team to get these up and running in a COVID environment with having one plan and then having to change a plan and then change a plan and go back to the first plan and then change again. It's been really crazy. So, but we've had time to plan. I think we've all learned so much over the last 12 months in crisis and adversity. I think that's what we can all be proud of. And we finally had some results. After all this craziness after this year. We're able to get events up and running. Not all sports are able to get events up and running like we have. Some more, some less, but we've been able to get events up and running. Sponsorship deals are starting to come in. It hasn't been easy at all. Obvious reason that sponsors need to know when events are going to be, and we haven't had our event calendar out, so it's been very difficult. The same as TV deals, but they're starting to come through. We're starting to see some commercial results. We're able to launch our website. At the start, it wasn't perfect, but we're able to adapt, improve, and I think now we've got a very good product out for our table tennis fans. We have an app. Who would have thought it would have waited till 2021 for table tennis to have a global app, but now we have one. We have a fantastic new result system, which is only going to get better and better, and then be feeding through the website and app and also live inside the venue to give our fans, our players, our officials the best possible experience. We've been able to grow our fan base, which you'll be able to see. Our social media account is rising and rising and rising with the new innovative content that we've been able to produce. the world's starting to know about the WTT brand. 1 year ago, we were still just a piece of paper and some marketing collateral saying World Table Tennis and the logo and what we're going to do. But now we've had events. Now the market knows what World Table Tennis is doing, and we're able to be able to sell our product. And we're going to be doing that more and more in the future. And as Steve mentioned, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Thank God that we're finally starting to see the end of COVID. There's starting to be some easement of restrictions around the world. I was able to come into Singapore for the first time without any quarantine today. So that's really some light at the end of the tunnel. And we hope that 2022 can be a bit more of a normal year. So now we need to fight for the future. We've had a difficult 2021, and now we think we can be having a bright 2022. We have laid the groundwork for success. We are in a much stronger internal position where we've done our professional work than we were 1 year ago. Our new staff is up and running. Our documents are up and running. Our business model have been fine-tuned and fine-tuned and fine-tuned. Our promotional documents are much more stronger than it was in the past. And now we have a base, we have a product, now we're ready for investment, now we're ready to be going to the world. We're in a much stronger position than we were 12 months ago. So there has been some silver lining. We would have loved to be delivering our 34 events to the players, to the fans, to the national associations all around the world in 2021, but that's been impossible. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to deliver everything that we promised, but we promise that we will deliver that in the future once COVID starts easing away. So the future is bright. I really believe this is the best model for table tennis. This is the best brand for table tennis, and with all your support, we can really grow table tennis to the level that we all believe it can be. We've had a rocky start. Things could have been done better. But we're dealing with COVID, and we're dealing with a new entity, and as Mr. Liu said, change is never easy. So we're adapting. Thank you for your support. Thank you for adapting as well. And now we're going to run you through all the detailed work that the team has been doing for the past 12 months. You hear it straight from them, and it's great that you can see all the friendly faces that we get the pleasure of working with every day to be bringing World Table Tennis to the world. So first up is our media team, headed by our WTT Senior Media Director, Melissa Sobrati. Over to you, Mel.
Thanks, Matt, and good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, everyone. It's been a really, really busy year for the media team, with our role to document and also amplify the transformation of the sport across TV, social media, and digital. I think one of the biggest challenges is actually to prove the value and the worth of WTT and its raison d'etre. We will, with the team, go through all the developments and successes we've had this year. So in the first instance, I will talk to you about TV and TV production. So as you can see from this slide, Asia currently leads the demand for live coverage. So there's still quite a lot of work that we need to do in demonstrating the value of WTT to the rest of the world. That being said, 2022 is definitely more promising, with some soon to be announced deals, including pan-regional deals for Southeast Asia, Latin America, and Europe, one major deal in China, and there are discussions ongoing for sub-Saharan Africa. The good news in the Middle East is that the TV political landscape is close to being resolved, which will then help us open up discussions within that region. What is key, though, is that we need to have a long-term grassroots approach and strategy to actually grow the sport's popularity in a lot of key markets. What we have found this year is that the sport is played in many countries, yet making that transformation to the big screen whilst fighting against the other sports has been more of a challenge. So this is going to be a project that's not going to happen overnight, but will take maybe 5 to 10 years, and we have to start at the start, whether it's at schools, etc., and building the way up, which is where the events pyramid comes into fore. In terms of growing that value, we have invested a lot in the production and the look and feel of the sport and the coverage. And you will see how the production continues to scale up with the event tiers. So also is the introduction of improved TV graphics. And next year, there will be more innovations coming our way, such as integration of stats and AI. I will now hand over to our head of social media, Taifeng Yan.
Thank you, Mel. So this is the ITTF social media accounts. As we all know that it has undergone major transformations over the past year to ensure that each of our social media accounts serve its intended purposes and reaching out to the right group of audience. So right now we do have 6.6 million fans across all our social media platforms. And out of the ITTF group, the WTT social media following actually accounts for about 50% of this total number. Over the past year, due to the lack of events because of COVID, the WTT social media strategy has shifted from focusing on event coverage to using new and innovative ways to excite, engage, and educate our fans. So we have done several innovative campaigns in the past year, such as the Fan Empowerment campaign with the foundation on World Table Tennis Day to celebrate women in our sport, the Cho campaign, as well as From Tokyo with Love during the Tokyo Olympics. The team has also brought on new ideas to build star players, such as introducing player stat cards, as well as cross-genre content like Now Playing, where players actually showcase their personalities through sharing their latest music playlists with fans. We were also able to amplify our efforts and reach non-traditional table tennis fans through collaborations with other publishers, such as Visual and 433, which had a following of close to 43 million fans around the world. And as you can see, the point between Malone and Fampo from the 2015 World Championships was seen over 7 million times on 433's Instagram account and garnered over 1 million likes on that one post alone. So moving on, we will be bringing even more engaging content to our fans and further grow our table tennis fan base. Next, I will hand over to my colleague, Head of Media Relations for China, Zhou Dao, who will share more about our social media landscape in China.
Thank you, Taifeng. Hello, everyone. Since many of our colleagues know little about Chinese media, today I will mainly give a basic overview of our works on Chinese social media. At present, Chinese social media is divided into two services, the Chinese service and the WTT service. The ITTF social media service has two accounts, Weibo and WeChat, which are mainly used to publish official news such as various WTTC announcements and so on. Now, ITTF's Weibo account has 3.2 million followers, which indicates high official authority. WTT's accounts were created in early 2021, and they have grown very rapidly. In the past 8 months, these accounts are mainly used to interact with fans, as well as to release various event information, content from players, and so on. WTT has accounts on 3 different platforms, Weibo, WeChat, and Douyin. And each platform has completely different functions. In the past year, WTT Weibo fans have grown from 0 to 340,000. And our Douyin fans have also reached, the Weibo account have from 0 to 740,000, and our Douyin fans have also reached 330,000. thousands. This growth rate is incredible, almost unbelievable, but we do it. Another aspect of my work involves communicating and coordinating with the CTTA and the Chinese media. Here, I would like to say a big thank you to CTTA. In addition, the Chinese media are also very cooperative and supportive of our work. The influence of WTT and ITTF's media accounts is getting stronger day by day, whether it is official media such as CCTV and the Xinhua News Agency, or small publishers. The Chinese media will always share and repost the news we release. I think this shows the trust they have in our work. Finally, thank you all for listening. I define myself as a bridge between East and West. Feel free to approach me if you have any question about this aspect. I will definitely try my best. Thank you all. So over to you, Caifeng.
Thank you, Jodao. As mentioned earlier, we've been doing a lot of new innovative content on our social media to engage our fans. So now let's take a look back at one of the videos from our Cho campaign.
Who has the loudest Cho?
Primorac was very, very high, I remember in the beginning. But when they're getting older, it was going down a little bit. But in the beginning, for sure, Primorac. He was shouting with the arm up all the time, every ball. Every ball.
Yeah, that's obvious. Tomokazu and Bernie.
Okay, I think my friend Bernadette, she still has a very strong jaw.
I think it's very easy to know. Arimoto.
So no, I have to remember. It's my friend, Japanese girl.
A few moments later.
Sakura Mori.
Thank you, Taifeng and Jodao. And now I'd like to pass over to Cheng Hao Seat, our head of digital, to share with you all the developments this year in that arena.
Thanks, Melissa. As mentioned by Matt earlier, there were two major projects that were launched this year. That was the WTT website as well as the WTT app. Both projects were very much taken on so that we could get a better understanding of our fans. Through social media, we were able to collect third-party data. But what we really wanted to do is to really understand the needs and the wants of our fans to be able to better serve them and provide bespoke content that would engage them even more. So just a brief overview of what we have done or the numbers that we have collected over the website and the app thus far. On the website, since we launched in the first quarter of this year, we have over 2 million page views. And the team over the months since then, if you have followed the website, we have made several changes to make it a much better user experience for everybody. We will endeavor to make sure that you can get as much information and as much content from the website itself so that it becomes table tennis global one-stop shop where you are able to engage and get everything out of it. As previously mentioned, we will continue to build the website, add more features, and hopefully make it as robust as possible. The other digital project that was handled this year was actually the WTT app. So it was actually launched just before the Tokyo Olympics. What the app is able to provide is basically information at your fingertips anywhere you go. So what you are seeing right now is you are able to watch live matches from your phone. You are able to check the scores from your phone itself anywhere you are. And as of now, we have up to 27,000 downloads and close to 30,000 registered fans across our website and the app. We will continue to build out our website and app, and hopefully we can receive some feedback on how we can improve on it. If you have not actually seen the promo video for the app, I would like to now show you a short video about it.
1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip. Perfection. 1, 2, 3, your attention's all I need. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip. 4, 5, 6, don't let it slip.
So as you can see, the website and app is a very big project for us, but we are not forgetting the wider table tennis community. So over the past year, we have been experimenting with a lot of ways in order to share content with the wider community, which is important for news releases and as well as to gain more attention to the sport itself. So one thing that we have introduced this year is actually to introduce to share player content. At event itself, we will be printing QR codes that we will stick throughout the venue where players tend to be at, and they are able to quickly scan this QR code in order to get footage or pictures of themselves in high res that they can use for their own social accounts. Just one note on that, it is very strict. It is strictly for player promotions and not for commercial purpose. The other thing that we have tried and tested is to find a way to better share content with the member association as well as the media. However, through this 1 year of testing, we realized that we may not be ready for a bespoke platform for us to use, and it probably is good news for a lot of you guys that we are bringing back Flickr. So as of the Tunis event that's happening right now, you can actually go to Flickr and go to the WTT platform to download some of these photos. If you are wondering how to access it quickly, just head to the website. At the bottom, we actually have integrated the Flickr link to our website, and you can quickly get access to our Flickr account. There's also one more area of content sharing that I would like to bring you across, and this is actually the Imagen platform. And for that, I'll hand over to Joachim to give you more insights on it.
Thank you very much, Cheng Hao. Hi, everyone. I'm Joachim Devi. I'm WTT's Creative Director. And today I'd like to introduce you to our newly created ITTF Media Archive. The ITTF Media Archive is a centralized system for all videos of all matches that have been played in ITTF and also WTT competitions. Over the past 3 years, we've built up the system, and by now we have 23,000 matches online. This translates into roughly 14,500 hours of content. In June 2021, we reached a big milestone by opening up our media archive to our member associations. Member associations are now able to watch and download every match where their players participated in. In addition to that, member associations can also download and watch every final that has been played in, as said, ITTF and WTT competitions. This now means that member associations can use those videos to educate their coaches, to educate the umpires, but also for players to watch, analyze, and study their own game. Currently, content is available from 2017 onwards, but we're very much looking into expanding the range of the content. So we will be adding matches that have been played from 2010 to 2016 in the first half of 2022. Bearing in mind that we only have matches in our archive where TV production or streaming services were available back when they were played. Many of you have already registered to the archive. In case you haven't done so, please follow the URL that you see on your screens now, media.archive.ittf.com. Register with your official email address from your association. Once we approved your accounts, you are ready to go and you can browse the content. For any further questions, feel free to reach out to myself or to the team, and we'll be happy to assist you. That's it from the media team, and I'm gonna hand back over to Matt.
Thank you very much. Very cool to see all the action from the media team. Even for me, it's very cool to see, looking back on everything the team's been able to achieve this year under such tough circumstances. So you've heard from the media team, now to the partnership team, head by the WTT Senior Partnership Director, Kimberly Koh. Over to you, Kim.
Thank you, Matt. And before I begin on the topic of bringing partners to the table, I would like to kick off with a video on WTT brand partnerships.
Table tennis, ping pong, whatever you want to call it, we are everywhere. On your screens, in your garage, at your office, the internet, and cats. At the forefront of all this are amazing professional athletes.
This is the greatest of all time at this point in history. He's done it! How about that?
We have united a society, and we're just getting started. 2021 heralds a new era for table tennis. An all-new sports entertainment experience delivered to 135 markets through our media channels, so fans can watch, swipe, like, and share your branded content across the globe. When top athletes compete for the largest ever prize pool to come.
It's a historic achievement, and it's richly deserved.
Table tennis. Reimagined, re-energized, redefined.
As everyone can see, even from the time the video was created, the number of social media followers and number of TV viewers have increased since then. Here at WTT Partnerships, we are working with 3 goals in mind. Firstly, to secure top global brands to enhance the reputation of table tennis. Secondly, using digital and data as a differentiator to other sports properties. And thirdly, finally, to ultimately increase commercial success of table tennis overall as a sport. 2020 and 2021 has been difficult with COVID impacting all the different areas of the sport, as Matt has shared and Mel's team have shared. For partnerships, the impact is actually twofold. Firstly, we do have events being postponed and hence not being able to bring brands on board. But secondly, we also have brands who are being much more careful with their marketing spend. Despite that, we are very glad to have a number of partners who believe in the future of table tennis and the future of WTT. With global partners DHS and Leaning, event partners across different events, including the World Championships, the U Series, and Para Table Tennis. With digital being a core part of what WTT is offering, as you have seen from our media team presentation, digital partners such as Andro, with whom we had recently launched a Rate My Shot campaign, was also launched. More in the pipeline will be announced, so check this space. Historically, most of our brand partnership revenue comes from Asia, which very much follows the same trend as in media. And we know that shifting, this to a global picture will not be easy, but it's absolutely needed for the sport. And in order to do that, there are many areas that we will need to change. First and foremost, it is the partnership structure to facilitate a global approach across all WTT and ITTF properties. This includes the creation of a new global premium partner tier, which is the new top tier of WTT brand partners that will be present across all aspects of WTT, from events to digital and to corporate social responsibility. As part of the ITTF group, we are able to integrate other assets within the group, such as the foundation or high performance, to provide a much more holistic marketing solution for brands. This is, of course, much more difficult than selling event by event due to the size of the deals amidst COVID, but it is really the direction that we will need to take in order to change the perspective of the sport globally. Secondly, WTT needs to stand out from others through the use of digital and data. And this is in 2 parts. Firstly, to build an attractive product, we had worked with a number of external professional agencies. Firstly, with Gamba, a commercial and research agency who had assisted us on valuing the following properties. Firstly, intellectual property. This is the importance of building a strong brand and to be protective of it. And in this case, we're not just talking about logos and colors and the things that you see, but the inherent value that brands perceive to actually be associated to WTT. Of course, we also got them to evaluate exposure. So in this case, TV media exposure, which is when fans are watching and seeing the brands through different broadcasts or short clips. Thirdly, benefits, which would refer to the on-site ticketing, hospitality, and other benefits that they would get for being a partner of WTT. Following that exercise, which was done in 2020, and with the rise of the importance of digital, we also cooperated with Millman this year to develop a digital content valuation model, DCVM, to understand how we can further use branded social media content, our website, and our app to drive value. And this has really allowed us to understand where the value of WTT comes from and how we can optimize all aspects of the partnerships, working very closely with my colleagues in events, media, IT, and the rest of the WTT team. So I just want to give a very quick example on how we managed to optimize one area, which is the broadcast exposure with CSM Media. So as you know, we have a brand new field of play. And in developing this together with the media and event team, there were a lot of considerations to take into mind. Working with CSM, we were able to tweak and test from the first time at the Sports Hub in Singapore to actually implementing it in Macau and then refining it during the 2 events in Doha. And this might seem like a small, simple, easy thing, but there were many considerations, as you would see on the right, which we had to take into account. And we were able to use data and digital and the media value from our partner CSM in order to come to the right way as to how we should be presenting the different partners and their tiers. So apart from building the product, data and digital is key to sales. And I would like to introduce Rafa Chen, Head of Partnership Sales APAC, to take you through it.
Thanks, Kim. So brands are always looking at 3 main components when evaluating partnerships: estimated returns, brand positioning, and target audience. So Kim has already addressed the part on estimated returns by working with CSM. And with World Table Tennis, the positioning of table tennis has changed for the better by moving it into a modern lifestyle global sport entertainment segment. We now have to look at who our audiences are. Understanding our audiences is a key component of our strategy in terms of outreach, because brands have to be convinced that through a partnership with WTT, they are able to reach out to the right target audience. As WTT events and digital presence are platforms for potential partners to be on, to reach our audience, it is important for us to know what our fans and followers think and who they are to establish that personal connection. In order to do so, we have been working with data agencies such as YouGov, GWI, to provide us with the statistics. These statistics covers the population demographics such as age, gender, income, marital statuses. We also look at psychographics such as hobbies, preferred form of communication, social media platforms that they use. We also look at their consumer behavior as to what products do they usually use or buy and their interests besides table tennis. As partnership managers, we use this data to tell compelling stories to brands and offer them WTT partnerships as marketing solutions. And let me give you an example. In my recent discussion and still in discussion with one of the bigger casino hotels in the world, knowing that their key audiences are high rollers and have a strong interest in table tennis, it was easy for us to justify why WTT is the event that they must sponsor to engage the target audience, because we have this data. But partnerships do not just end at a logo exposure. They are looking at platforms of activation to engage. This is where we come in with a marketing solution. We propose an exclusive dinner plus a game event with top athletes at one of the establishments. We have this on record and put them on selected social media platforms at the time when most people are logging in order to achieve optimum exposure. In partnerships, we're also expected to hunt for new partners to join us. For now, we're quite lean, but we're still quite hands-on. But we're moving towards technology for automation to help us with the sales outreach in order to raise the level of efficiency internally. We did a study on popularity of table tennis last year. If I ask you this question, where is table tennis most popular? I would say that the most common answer is always China. But let me share this with you. The data has shown that it is popular everywhere. It is actually quite global. One thing for sure is that the sport is not only strong as the performance and the personality of the athlete. We've seen how Timo Boll, Hugo Calderano, and Quadri Aruna are as success stories of performance and how their personality has sustained their success. They also helped in brewing the popularity of the sport in their own country. A common misconception is table tennis is popular with the elderly, but it is not. Table tennis is a good sport for the elderly to be playing to exercise. Looking at this data, table tennis is popular amongst the younger generation as well. We did a study about 10 countries. WTT couldn't do all of them as it's really expensive, but we're happy to share with you if you are interested. Looking at this data is really comforting, and we have to thank the member associations for your efforts, and we hope we can do this together to drive the popularity of the sport globally. The partnerships team of WTT is everywhere. We have Yuki in China, we have Gonzalo in Latin America, Johnny in Europe, and myself in Asia. So feel free to reach out if you ever need help with sponsorships or partnerships. So when it comes to results and delivery of obligations, these are very important to clients. Next up, I have Tessa Cho, the head of partnership experience, will give you the insights on delivering a happy client of in WTT.
Thank you, Rafa. I'm Tessa, and here at the Partnerships Experience team, we are responsible for providing the support to and strengthening the relationships with partners, which help to further increase the commercial value and drive commercial success of table tennis globally. To give a brief overview of our work, the brand partner's journey with us can be categorized into the following 3 areas: onboarding, activation and support, and review. Upon securing partners, the onboarding process includes both external and internal communication, where we work on preparing the announcements through press releases, acknowledgements via various marketing channels, briefing the clients on the usage of the WTT intellectual property, and setting up the workflow in order to achieve the contractual obligations, and among others. So concurrently, we continue to engage the partners and work with local organizers and various member associations like yourselves to discuss various activation opportunities that can better value add fans and presentation of the sport. On and off the table, these sources of exposure include event deliverables, such as branding around the field of play through LED and floor stickers, indoor-outdoor advertising, etc. Digital activations like image and video content across WTT social media platforms, written articles, and other in-app advertisings in the all-new WTT mobile app, as well as branded exposure through branded experiences through VIP hospitality programs, exclusive bespoke meet and greet sessions, and so on. Through each event and campaign that we run with partners, a thorough review process is also conducted to evaluate the progress and effectiveness, which will help us to enhance the overall value of the partners' experience of working with us and lead to long-term partnerships with these brands. All in all, through this process in place, and by working hand in hand with the other WTT departments, along with the local organizers, we will be able to grow the table tennis brand globally with the invaluable support of our partners. So thank you, and I will now hand the floor back to Matt.
Thanks, Tessa, and thanks, Kim and team. You can see how hard we are working here at World Table Tennis to bring sponsors and more partners to the sport, and we hope to have some big and exciting announcements to you all soon. Next, we have our events team. It's what we show the world. It is what our players play in. It's what we put on TV. It's exceptionally important for WTT. So first, before I pass it to Stephen, we're going to hear a video from Stephen where our event strategy director explains our event tiers of WTT.
Over the past 18 months, WTT has been working on putting in place a structure that clearly establishes the pathway for our athletes to be able to progress through the sport and for our fans to clearly understand. And this has helped us to create the WTT Pyramid of Events. The WTT Pyramid of Events starts off with the Youth Series, leads into the new WTT Feeder Series, which will launch in 2022, and into the WTT Series, our professional top tier of events. Within the WTT Pyramid of Events, our new structure makes it very clear to establish a pathway for our players from day one to world #1. When a player picks up a racket for the very first time, they'll be very clearly able to understand what they need to do within the sport to become world #1. The WTT Youth Series forms the base of our pyramid with up to 100 events per year run by member associations all around the world. This is the perfect opportunity for our youngest and future stars to come together and showcase their talent and test themselves amongst their junior peers. The WTT Youth Series is broken down into 2 tiers of events: WTT Youth Star Contender and WTT Youth Contender. The Youth Contender events feature playing age groups from under 11 through to under 19, and the Youth Star Contender events that take the top youth players and see them compete in under 19 and under 15 singles and doubles categories. Each year there will be only 6 WTT Youth Star Contender events, and the rest of the Youth Series comprising of WTT Contender events from all around the world. The WTT Feeder Series forms the next tier in the WTT pyramid. This series is designed to allow member associations to host events and provides the opportunity for players to continue their transition through to the elite level of the sport. This tier of events provides youth players with the opportunity to hone their skills in global events at a senior level as they continue their career pathway, but also acts as an important safety net for players who are returning from a career break or looking for additional match play and the opportunity to compete with players from all around the world. With up to 60 WTT Feeder Series events per year, organisers have the option to select from a variety of draw sizes across qualifying and main draw. Players will be able to earn world ranking points as they continue their journey to world number 1. The WTT Feeder Series and WTT Youth Series now provide fans with more table tennis than ever before, in their backyard or across WTT's digital platforms. The WTT Series marks the apex of the WTT playing pyramid, and where the world's best players compete for the ultimate glory in becoming world number 1, and where fans are treated to the best table tennis in the world. WTT's Grand Smashes will form the pillars of the sport. These 4 events placed around the world will see the world's best players come and compete at a 2-week table tennis festival, providing fans with all the drama and entertainment they love to see at table tennis events. The transition into the WTT Series commences with the Contender Series, which is split into 2 tiers, Star Contender and Contender. These events will feature a mix of marquees, local heroes and up-and-coming stars, all earning crucial ranking points as they progress through the WTT Series. Our best 32 players in the world earn the right to compete at our WTT Champions events. Split into separate men's and women's events and played on one table, these provide fans with the opportunity to see their superstars in iconic locations with world-class fan entertainment. At the conclusion of the WTT Series, fans will be rewarded with the ultimate table tennis experience, the WTT Cup Finals. These events will see the top 16 players and 8 doubles pairs competing at single table, single gender events at the end of the season. With the best players in the world competing, fans are guaranteed to see a level of table tennis never seen before. All of these changes are designed to put our fans at the core of the sport and give you the ultimate world table tennis experience. Our events will deliver new levels of entertainment, both inside and outside the arena, and set against a backdrop of stunning table tennis action. Our digital platforms and broadcast innovations will put table tennis in your pocket 24/7 so that you never miss a moment of your favourite stars. Welcome to the future of table tennis.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone watching this AGM webinar about World Table Tennis. It's a pleasure to be back speaking with you all again. Obviously, as we've just seen through that video presentation, that we have now been able to put in place the WTT pyramid with our WTT series and feeder series and youth series structure in place, which offers an enticing portfolio of events, which will be hopefully, with the basis of the conversations we're having, be able to come to a city near you in 2022. To recap, the pathway or establishing the player pathway through the pyramid, our youth series with up to 100 events, our feeder series with up to 60 events, and our WTT series featuring up to 34 events. What is most pleasing about this year is that the new WTT pyramid is up and running. And as we begin to unlock the potential of the sport and establish that playing pathway for our athletes, it's also important that we not forget the other groups within the WTT ecosystem. So this year we've also been doing some work with the URC about creating a pathway for match officials. So what match officials need to do when they first officiate, to how they become the top match officials around the world. We are about to embark on a journey about how we create the fan experience from day one, the moment a fan first purchases a ticket all the way through to their journey at the event, their experience, and about opening their wallets and spending money at WTT events, which will ultimately provide benefits for our hosts. With the pyramid up and running, we are now being able to start telling the story of the sports. These are unlocking the potential and telling the story of the sport are two of the things that I've been mentioning quite frequently over the past 18 months. And now that this pyramid is up and running, we can start to see that coming to fruition. Of course, the opportunity for member associations to host WTT events still remains, and we would be happy to have a discussion and follow up with any member association interested in hosting a WTT event across any of the three levels of the pyramid for 2022 and beyond. So moving forward into what we've been able to achieve this year. Obviously, through COVID, it's been a challenging and complicated year being able to bring events, but with the support of member associations all over the world, we've been able to experience WTT action for the very, very first time. So obviously with the WTT Middle East Hub in March, I also need to express my gratitude to Khalil Al-Mahanadi and the QTTA team for their dedication and hard work in being able to set the tone and direction for WTT's future, in demonstrating how we can elevate our events and take them to the next level, to really create a product that fans will stop and take notice of on TV, across our digital platforms, and also when we're able to welcome fans back to our stadiums. After a hiatus for the Olympics, we continued over into Europe, and we were able to host our very first WTT contender event in Europe. And again, thank you to Roland and Christoph and all of the Hungarian Table Tennis Association, as well as the team at Panone Sport, for helping pull together the WTT contender event at such short notice in Europe. Right now, this week, we are also witnessing more history with the WTT Contender Tunis event taking place. And I'm not sure if Lotfi was able to join the call today. I would assume not, but thank you must also go to him and his team for their dedication in also turning around the ability to deliver a WTT event on such short notice and with very tight timeframes. This has been a recurring theme throughout the course of this year. We map out at the start of each year where we want our events to be, and then every 24 or 48 hours, our plans keep changing. So to be able to achieve those events so far, and then to be able to have 2 more events in Europe in the lead up to the World Table Tennis Championships in Houston is another great opportunity for our players. And of course, a thank you to Thomas and all of the team in Slovenia who are gearing up for the hosting of the 2 WTT contender events over the next 2 weeks following Tunisia. Of course, this year, as I said, that the challenge, but being able to get 7 WTT series events up has been a pleasing result. We know that there have been some teething issues and some challenges in communicating that information and how the events have been handled. I think this is a general part of change, and as we move forward with more of these events coming under our belt, we'll be able to smooth out some of those bumps and kinks that we've experienced throughout the course of this year. Looking ahead, we have been actively discussing opportunities or the ability to host the WTT Cup finals at the end of the season. This has been an ongoing bullseye or target to lock down, but it would appear as a result of some changes in situation that we are very close to confirming a host for the WTT Cup finals in December. We anticipate that we're at for 2022. And before I do go into that, I would like to acknowledge Tiago Viegas, the WTT Youth Series manager, for his efforts in 2021 with the WTT Youth Series. Tiago is, as many of you would know, is Singapore based, but as a result of the pandemic has been based out of Portugal, unable to return back to Singapore, and has worked across the WTT series and the youth series tirelessly throughout the course of this year. And so it's important that we acknowledge the efforts of Tiago and everything that he's done for WTT and the youth series this year as well. So where do we sit for 2022? Recently, you would have seen some communication about the appointment of the Sports Consultancy, a UK-based agency that focuses on or specializes in the ability to find host cities to host major sporting events. Some of their work includes the WTA finals here in Singapore, projects with World Rugby, with Sail GP. They are currently managing the NFL hosting recruitment process in Germany, where the NFL is looking to stage an NFL match. NFL being American football, as well as currently running the tender process for the Labour Cup. We have had some quite positive feedback from them over the past two weeks since we made the announcement in their outreach, and there are some very positive signs coming through from that conversation. We also have a second agency engaged in the Middle East to be able to unlock the potential and grow the Middle East table tennis market. The Sports Consultancy's focus is around North America and Europe. And of course, as we go through this process with both agencies, we will keep member associations updated and become part of those conversations when the moment is right to bring everyone together. So where are we for 2022? Recently, the ITTF, the group ITTF strategic calendar was released, which identified the weeks where WTT events are scheduled to be held in 2022 and beyond. In the coming weeks, we will look to share a WTT specific event calendar that maps out the designated weeks for each event tier to provide you with greater opportunities to plan and schedule your 2022 seasons. And likewise, we will make a reference within that document to events that we believe have a very strong opportunity to proceed as planned. What has been pleasing over the past 3 months with the world's COVID position improving is the green shoots starting to appear with conversations with host cities. We have an offer on the table for a Grand Smash in Southeast Asia, which we are currently fleshing out the terms of agreement. We have a very strong opportunity growing in Europe. And we also have 2 excellent opportunities also growing in China. So we are confident that we would be able to be in a position to have 2 to 4 Grand Smash events in 2022. Of course, the WTT Cup finals splitting back to individual events. We've had a lot of interest in North America for these events in the early stages of that sport consultancy process. We're also hopeful that we'll be able to get through at least half, if not 3/4 of the other event within the WTT series. The WTT feeder series has been, application was run this year. I'd like to thank Vicky and Demos for their efforts and work in pulling together all of the documentation and collateral and for running that application process. We do have 3 events in Europe that have been approved, and their communication, their personal or member associations will be notified in the coming days that they have been approved. We have an event in Oceania also under review, but we are excited that there is a lot of member outreach that has been done by Johnny in Europe and also Gonzalo in Latin America, with lots of strong interest being shown and many discussions taking place. So we're confident in 2022 that we will hit that 10 event target. But again, with that caveat that COVID will hamper perhaps the opportunity for some events to be held. The one other important thing to note for the WTT feeder series is that we are investigating the possibility of bringing forward the start of this to December. We are actively discussing with a member association and club in Europe to be able to provide some playing opportunities for players outside of the top 30 to be able to earn those rankings points and have meaningful competition at the back end of this year. An announcement about whether if that proceeds or not will come out in the coming week or so. And then finally, the WTT Youth Series. I won't go into too much detail on this because Tiago will take over shortly. But again, as a reminder to everyone of what we're trying to achieve with WTT events and what we can bring to your city, to your fans, to your players, to your grassroots communities, is World Table Tennis. And after this short video, it will hand over to Tiago Viegas, WTT Youth Series Manager. Thank you.
Welcome to Macau in what is an amazing destination.
World Table Tennis taking the sport forward. It all starts here in the Middle East in Qatar at the Lusail Sports Arena. It really goes up a notch here in WTT.
Oh, Hugo has landed. Ay, 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 look at his expression. He's loving it, Dan.
It's joy for Jeon Jae-hee and Shin Yu-bin here in Doha.
Oh, no way! How did you decide? Look at that! Why Man Yu hits the deck!
It's around the net.
Oh, my goodness! Are you kidding me?
You do not want it to end.
Oh, what a winner down the line!
The big entrances, the razzmatazz, the star power, all part of World Table Tennis.
Sun Ying-sha is the WTT Macau champion.
Mima Ito at the double in Doha. Look at the reaction there.
History has been written again by Marlon. It's been amazing rallies, amazing matches, and huge upsets.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you for your kind words. First of all, hi everyone. I am pleased to be here today to give you some information about the Youth Series events. To refresh everyone about the structure, we have the Youth Style Container events and the Youth Container events. We made a few changes, the new age categories. We introduced the separation between girls and boys competitions. The selection of the players based on the world rankings for the Youth Style Container event is also something new. And also pleasing to see that the Youth Series increased media promotion through our digital platforms, promoting our youth talented players. In recapping to 2021, next slide, please. Thank you. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to all the member associations who hosted events this year in such difficult conditions caused by the pandemic situation. To all the participants, players, coaches, match officials, and local staff who ensured the safety of the events and followed the COVID-19 protocols. Thank you so much. We started off the year with over 30 youth series events on the calendar due to the pandemic situation. As you know, some of the hosts had to cancel their events. More pleasing is that it was possible to resume so far 11 youth series events. 2 are currently taking place, one in Italy and one in Ecuador, and more 3 will proceed until the end of the year. So having 16 youth series in 2021, more than 1,200 players having the opportunity to play a WTT Youth Series event from 83 member associations, I would say that are very interesting numbers, considering that we started this series from May. I have been at the venue working as a supervisor on a few events, and the feedback from participants and organizers is quite positive. This year application process has been again very strong, with applications received from the 5 continents, and thank you for your commitment to hosting WTT Youth Series events. For 2022, we had the opportunity for the member associations to apply for a long-term hosting agreement up to 5 years. This has been warmly received by the member associations, with many applications looking to host for multiple years commitment, and it will allow us to release calendars in advance for the next years. One of the initiatives we implemented in 2021 was the clashing on the same week of events taking place in neighboring countries. This combination was very successful. It provides the opportunity for the players to participate in 2 events in the same week, saving travel costs. And for 2021, we will have more combinations like Belgium and France, Poland and Germany, Serbia and Montenegro, just to mention a few of them. For the events that are not combined with others, we will monitor the pandemic situation during the next year, and we will discuss with the organizers a potential inclusion on the doubles events between the 2 gender competitions. In regards to the calendar for the next year, we are on the final process of confirming the dates for the event. We are aware that it will be released later than we would like to share with all of you. However, I'm happy to advise that for the events that have been confirmed for 2022, we will announce later this week the list of events that are confirmed, as I said before. And then of November, we hope that we will have the final calendar for 2022. The first event in 2022 will take place in early February based on the current applications. But as Stephen mentioned, if any member association still interested in hosting a WTT Youth Series in 2022, please let us know. As it happened in 2021, we will work in straight cooperation with the ITTF High Performance Department, and we will have training camps connected to our events. The process of nominations for wildcards between the youth series and the series, we are having the final reviewing internally, and we will provide greater opportunities for the transition through the system. As always, we have appreciated your feedback through out the year. You are always welcome by WhatsApp, email, or at the venue to bring new ideas, new options to provide better events for our young players. Thank you, and see you all in the World Youth Championships next December in Portugal. Thank you. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you very much, Stephen and Tiago. And if anyone has any questions about the WTT event structure or would like to have more information about hosting event, you can contact events@worldtabletennis.com. So just apologies from our side, we are running a little bit late. There's a lot of information, as you can see, trying to be crammed into an hour and a half, and we wanted to bring as much information as possible to you. So looks like we're going to be 30 minutes over, so apologies to those that only allocated 90 minutes of their time. This whole session will be put on YouTube, so you will be able to recap after those that have to leave right now. But we will continue. And now to pass over to talk about business services is the ITTF Group CEO, Michael Brown. Over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Matt. And of course, I think a key word at the moment is wow in regards to how much work has been done throughout the whole year. Even though there has been a pandemic, it's been quite impressive, and all of the outstanding work done by our events team, our media team, and our partnerships team. And today I'll do a brief presentation to introduce some of the work being done, let's say a little bit more behind the scenes through our business services. So business services looks after, let's say, the day-to-day operations of World Table Tennis, focusing on 4 different areas. So just on a very brief introduction on finance, legal, and HR before going a little bit further into detail with IT, as that does cover both the inwards and outwards facing. So from our finance side, we've been able to implement and introduce some advanced approval matrices that will help with the overall accountability of World Table Tennis, as well as introducing very detailed financial reporting, which is shared to the ITTF Executive Committee on a quarterly basis. From a legal aspect, we do have a centralized contract repository system, something that most organizations have had for a while now. However, with the introduction of so many new contracts that World Table Tennis has been implementing throughout the year, it has been quite important to centralize those, as well as an overall trademark registry, which is important for a new brand such as World Table Tennis making its way out into the world. From a human resources point of view, obviously recruitment and retention is very important for any organization, especially one that has been going through a pandemic. And as we start to further evolve the overall aspects of our human resource support, we are looking at building out education plans for our staff to be able to ensure that we can retain the best talent. With regards to IT, so obviously there's been various mentions through different presentations earlier, and I will touch on a couple of the success stories so far this year before passing it over to our IT director to go into a bit more detail of some of the behind the scenes and some of the future work that will be released. One of the key parts here is the overall integration of our IT system. So this has been a work in progress for 18 to 24 months now, in looking to have a single source of truth, ensuring that all of our data comes from one central focal point, compared to in the past where often we've had various databases or various softwares or systems that haven't necessarily integrated live amongst each other. And then obviously they do feed into our outward facing platforms, being our website and our mobile app. So on this diagram, without going through detail, but you can see all of the various event related data, as well as the marketing and media data that then allows for the data analytics, which is important to be able to produce greater revenues. Going into a bit more specific detail, looking at the sports data side. So obviously with table tennis being a sport and data being one of the most valuable commodities, let's say, throughout the world, it is important that we do have robust sports data in place. And that's been a big effort in the last 12 months to be able to enhance a more detailed events results system, as well as looking to have various other future forward thinking aspects, which may include, for example, biometric data, more related to in-venue fan data, and many other areas that will help the overall event management aspect, which then will feed up to our data management and analytics before then going to the outward facing, whether it's the website, the mobile app, or further other plans we do have in place, such as specific applications for players who are on site at events. So a couple of the major achievements thus far. So obviously the WTT website is ever evolving pretty much on a daily basis. We do have full creative license to be able to enhance and evolve and develop the website. So it is quite exciting how fresh and new the website can be and how flexible we are in being able to adjust and manage future enhancements. And of course, as mentioned already as well, the mobile app being a new feature for table tennis and the first of its kind. One of the key areas that underpins both the website and the mobile app is the content management system. So again, a customized content management system that's been built specifically to be able to feed all of the information directly to the mobile app and the website. And again, keeping that single source of truth. So being able to implement and output any of the specific content is all going through one centralized system. And as well, one of the more unique parts that we have implemented as well is a single sign-on environment. So for example, your registration within the mobile app is also the same as your registration to the website. And this will continue to evolve as we start to implement and introduce further platforms in the coming years. Finally, one of the other key achievements has been a remodel or a remake of the overall ranking system or a ranking engine. And I will pass over to our IT director, Srivatsan Ramasubramanian, or as we like to call him, Vatsan, and he will provide a bit more detail and a bit more information of IT's work, as well as some of the future goals and future platforms that will be introduced. Over to you, Vatsan.
Thanks, Michael. Hello, everyone. I think following Michael's briefing on several development initiatives that the WTT have taken to drive technology revolution to the sport of table tennis, I would like to highlight some of the key IT systems that were developed or are in the development progress as well by the IT team with support from our technology partners and vendors. The admin portal, one of the things that Michael touched on is this is built on the single source of truth database. We have consolidated to start with a lot of historical data from a number of legacy systems across ITTF at the time to build this single source of truth. And this portal, you can manage the players, the member association and organization information, event setup and configuration, equipment related information, and documents repository. And it allows seamless integration with all of the data, which will be automatically available to our other systems, including player entry system, ranking, and results. In terms of the online entries, which is the player entry system, which allows managing full entries process for a table tennis event, including player cancellations, travel and accommodation requests, visa requests, and then player cancellation. As with admin portal, the event entries will also be automatically synchronized with our result system. So any changes to the player registration or entries to the events will automatically be reflected into the result system. Our online venue results, on top of building on all the required event management features for a table tennis event, including draws, schedules, and reports, we have implemented real-time messaging to cover all event management activities and field of play activities, including points, yellow card, timeouts, actions following the toss, like service changes or site selection. And it is real-time sent out to our website, our mobile app, our betting partners, and broadcast partners. We also chosen a data communication technology used by notable organizations like Netflix and Citibank for a reliable, real-time, and highly scalable data feed mechanism. On top of this, we have also built a new module for a sports presentation as well, which is part of the result system. The work in progress that we have is the WTT API portal, which, like most of the organizations, allows us to expose the data through a standardized and facilitate consumption of table tennis sports data for all of our consumers. These APIs will not just expose the historical data, but also the current data, including events, matches, player stats, live matches, and including content from WTT articles and top posts. This is currently being used for powering the website and APIs as well. And then for our external consumers, we will also be exposing subscription tiers, which will include member associations who can consume directly from the portal all of the data that we would expose through specific tiers, and as well as media partners requiring data. So this is a work in progress, and the information would be shared to all of you, especially the member associations, for use of these portal. Feel free to reach out to me if you need additional information on technology products and solutions. And also, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the senior management team for the continued support and encouragement to all of the technology initiatives. Over to you.
Thank you, Michael and Vatsan, the unsung heroes of not just WTT, but the ITTF group. How far we've come over the last couple of years in terms of our business services and especially IT is astounding. And everything that we've said for the past hour and a half would not be possible without these guys absolutely killing themselves 24 hours a day behind the scenes to ensure the stability of all our products and make sure our events and all our media platforms are successful. So, promise the last presentation of the evening, and we'll let you get back to your days and nights, is our WTT commercial strategy consultant, Philippe Lefloc. Over to you, Philippe.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all of you. I took part of the last session, but for those of you who don't know me, so my name is Philippe Lefloc. I've been for nearly 30 years into the sport business, and I spend my time equally between governing bodies and ad agencies. So I've been on both sides of the fence. Amongst other things, I was the UEFA marketing director for 10 years, focusing on building the UEFA Champions League, the most successful club competition in the world, and also the Euro. And then more recently, I was the chief commercial officer at FIFA for 3 years, 2016 to 2019, where I successfully delivered the FIFA World Cup 2018 in Russia and the Women's World Cup 2019 in France. So my role within WTT is pretty simple. I joined WTT in January 2020 in a capacity of senior strategy consultant. And my job is to advise and support WTT leadership. So basically Matt and Steve on any strategies and matters related to the company's organization and most importantly its commercial activities. So what does that mean, the supporting role? It means that in a, let's say, the matrix way, I am available on defining and implementing all our operations. That could be on the event and operation strategies with Steven. It could be on marketing and brand strategies. It could be on media rights with Melissa. It could be on digital, new media. It could be on commercial sponsorship, supporting Kim. And also we're having several task force and groups. I don't know if the slides are moved because my screen seems to have frozen. But we're having obviously a task force group looking at external investment. We're having a task force looking at the new digital assets, and also basically making sure we have a good governance in the business and the way we operate within the ITTF galaxy. Looking at being conscious of time and looking at the next step on a strategy and where we want to be basically next year's, a few things we had to take into consideration. First of all, the environment. COVID is there and COVID is there to stay. So the world will have to learn how to live with it, but which means that we also have to learn to live in a COVID world. So all our WTT activities will have to take this in consideration and offer a COVID safe environment, which has been very efficient and successful so far. Then obviously we need to beef up our product. The launch, and Mr. Liu had mentioned it in his opening speech, launch in Macau and Doha were very good. It was a good initial proof of concept of the new tool. Now we need to conduct the try. We need to roll out a full and detailed calendar of events. We've been talking about what is coming for the last few months or years, and now obviously the market needs to know and see the event being delivered. The structure, Steve Dayton mentioned his opening remarks. The internal infight has been delaying a bit WTT activities. To be perfectly honest, from where I stand from, where I come from, it was a bit weird to see all these internal infighting because basically there's a clear delineation of responsibility. ITTF defined the strategic vision of the direction, and WTT, in its capacity of a commercial and even arm of ITTF, is implementing and bringing the vision to life. All that, so very, very clear delineation of activities. and all that allows to basically streamline and empower WTT to do its job, which bring budget savings, a much more professional approach by bringing the best in class and the state-of-the-art activities and how to run events and commercialize them, quality consistency all across the board, commercial efficiency in delivering the revenues needed, and obviously management clarity, knowing who does what. Then going to about commercial, which is obviously the biggest chunk of what we do. We had said last year in our remarks that the digitalization was there. COVID has been fast tracking the use of digitalization everywhere. It'd be the cornerstone of all WTT commercial efforts. It has been there for a while in the exploitation of media content. And in addition to our traditional linear TV distribution that we have in place, it'd be more and more important to be present on digital and social media platforms that we have. But also digitalization, he's taking part now, he's present in sponsorship. Until now, it was used primarily for promotion, to bang the drum, to make noise around to be able to access and engage with fans, to make noise around the event. Now we have to go to the next step, which is to be able to monetize that digital presence through exploitation, the collected data, and direct engagement with the fans. And last but not least, obviously, you see there's a lot of development into a digital world, and we have to explore. We need to be aware and see whether what role we can play in exploiting the new digital assets. That could be the NFTs, that could be metaverse, it could be really all this kind of to this new digital world which is there to stay. Another important thing that we need to do is build a brand. Until now, ITTF was primarily organizing events, but what we want to do with WTT is that we have to build a brand. I mean, the attendance and the profile of the event shouldn't be subject to people want to come because there's local players. People have to come because it's sports extravaganza. It is something that has to appeal to people beyond the traditional fandom. We want people to come. People who go to Wimbledon, to Roland Garros, to the FIFA World Cup final are not always football fans, but they just want people who want to be part of it because it is a big event. And this is exactly what we want to build with WTT, that to have that WTT brand where people know that it will be top quality entertainment, it is worth going. Also, a few things other things we're looking at, which I mentioned earlier on, is external investment. Obviously, the WTT structure allows external investment, which means that we can potentially bring financial support, which will help us to implement the new strategies and the new procedures. So all these, takes time and money. Obviously, this is a way to appeal and to reach out for financial support to help us to put in place the strategy that need to be implemented. And last but not least, obviously, there's what we call the China piece. China is one of the biggest markets, and it's a country where table tennis is king. So obviously, WTT will provide a commercial platform with a worldwide footprint, which is of interest for any company seeking presence in China and in other parts of the world. This could be a Chinese company who want to strengthen their stronghold in China. This could be a Chinese company who wants to go abroad and bring the positive values of table tennis into the commercial efforts abroad. It could be companies who want to go into China, or companies who want to go in other parts of the world, in Europe, North America, Latin America, Africa, where table tennis is strong. So we have the chance to have a sport that has a global footprint. We have players who come from all over the world, and we have to make sure that we have a commercial coverage, which is also having a worldwide presence. That's it. Sorry, I didn't want to speed too much, but I know this is late and be conscious of time, and I want to make sure we have enough time for Q&A. So anyway, I'm available if there's any question for me. Otherwise, Matt, over to you.
Thank you very much, Philippe. So that brings us to the end of our presentations. I'm now going to give the final words to our CEO, Steve. Before then, we'll head to the Q&A session. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Matt. And I hope that we can get a few questions in before the time. But just to wrap up, and we thought it was really important tonight to show you the massive amount of work that has been going on here at World Table Tennis and with the whole team behind, and to show you some of the faces that are driving that change. We spoke with a really professional team, I believe. professional team that when we don't have the knowledge or the know-how, we bring in the professional third-party partners to assist us, to help us achieve all the goals. And finally, ensuring that we will get political support at the end for this great project. Tonight we talked and heard from our media team and all the massive work that they are doing, the partnerships, difficulties during COVID, but with a great event structure coming into place in the near future, we are sure that we will get some huge sponsors and partners into the table tennis world. Stephen gave a great update about the event situation. We managed to get some events done this year. We will get a larger calendar up in 2022, maybe not exactly where we wanted it in the beginning, but then from 2023 and 2024, hopefully rolling out a full series of events. Michael and Vatsan gave you some updates on the business services, something we've been really driving out, not only in World Table Tennis, but also at the whole group level, and we've professionalized massively there. And finally, the all-important strategy and the overall goals and objectives that we would like to achieve at World Table Tennis. It's been a really complicated year. It's been challenging, as I said earlier, not only from the COVID point of view, but also from the internal political point of view. However, we do feel we've come to a really great place at the moment. We are confident that we are on the right track with what we are doing for the sport. We believe World Table Tennis as a vehicle can achieve the really massive goals that we gave ourselves at the beginning of this journey. We're extremely excited, and I hope tonight that you could see some of the back-end work that's gone on over the last, well, not only the last year, I would say that the last 2 or 3 years, but which has really gone into overdrive in this last 12 months when we start to actually launch some of the events. And with that, Matt, I pass it back to you, and I look forward to any questions. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Steve. So we've had many questions come in during the webinar so far, which we've been able to answer directly. I'm just looking to see if there's any more. Doesn't seem to be too many additional ones coming in. I think us talking at you for 2 hours hopefully answered a lot of the questions that you may have had about World Table Tennis and what's been happening over the past 12 months. But if it doesn't seem to be any questions, please always feel free to reach out to any of us here at World Table Tennis. I think now you would have seen a lot of our faces that you would have seen over email and online over the last 12 months. So please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us to ask any questions, big or small. We hope to bring as many of WTT events to your countries as possible, and as many of your players playing as possible, and as many as your TV broadcasters broadcasting as possible. We really want to bring this brand and product all around the world, and hopefully it can be a catalyst to grow the sport that we all love. So without any further ado, I can't see any other questions. So that's it from us. Thank you very much for your time and your patience. Thank you to our team who've, as you can see, have put a lot of hard work in over the last 12 months and a lot of hard work to get this presentation ready. I wish all my other ITTF group colleagues the best of luck for their presentations over the next couple of weeks. And I hope to see as many of you in Houston as possible, and enjoy all the World Table Tennis events online. So thank you, and best of luck and best wishes. Cheers from all of us here in Singapore.